Welcome back to the BTS Happy Hour podcast. I'm your host, Andrea. On Sunday, August 28th, the VMAs aired on MTV, and I didn't actually watch the show, but a few reports and tweets and things caught my attention, so I did want to comment on that. What I did watch the next day was Lizzo's performance. She performed About Damn Time and Am I Ready to Be Loved. Nicki Minaj's performance, which was a medley of her biggest hits plus her new song, and Blackpink's performance, Pink Venom. So Lizzo had a really good album this year, so I'm happy to see that she is like performing live and promoting. So I'm good with Lizzo being, pretty prominent on this award show. If you remember, Nicki Minaj had a collab with BTS way back when they did Idol. So you could say she was way ahead of her time as a Western artist who recognized BTS. And I liked her verse on Idol. Not a Barb's, since I don't think I can say I know her discography that well, but I do remember Moment for Life is probably my favorite song of hers. And I also like Starships and Beauty and the Beat. So she's really good at having a pop element with some of her songs. And I know some of them are a lot more rap heavy. But, she's one of those artists who's pretty rare who can sing and rap. So I think I like the songs where she has like a little bit more singing on them. But yeah, it was kind of pretty interesting to see her perform at the VMAs this time. It seems like she's trying to make somewhat of a comeback. I think she hasn't released a new album in a while, so I thought she brought like a really strong performance. And as a female rapper, I think she was one of the first to do her type of genre, like, female rappers that are very over the top and sexy and, the kind of thing that like Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B are kind of doing now. She was doing that like early on in her career. So I think it's kind of a look at history of female rappers. I did see that Taylor Swift was there. She didn't perform, but it seemed that she won Video of the Year and Video of the Year long form for All Too Well 10-minute version, Taylor's version. So I was like, first of all, wondering like, okay, when did they have a long form video category? It's like, because I know there aren't long form videos all the time. It's just like every once in a while someone is trying to be artistic and have like a 10-minute video or whatever. So I just thought that was funny that award just happened to be available this year so that Taylor Swift could win it. Like, weird how that works out. And this is probably the only major news that happened in the award show, but she said in her acceptance speech at the very end that she's got a new album coming out October 21st. So yeah, I don't think there was a lot of crazy like water cooler moments that occurred, and especially the fact that BTS wasn't there, I had no reason to tune in. So that was my reason for not even trying to watch it. But BTS, they were nominated for a couple of categories, and they lost in some of the non-voting categories, but I'm not really gonna... I'll give them a pass on picking the wrong winner on those categories, because at least they aren't trying to lie about it like they kind of did with the fan voting categories. And so that kind of brings me to some of the other awards that they lost that were VMA categories. And I guess it's important to point out that these are the categories that are fan voted. So if everything's legit, then whoever got the most votes should be the winner of that category. So keep that in mind. But yeah, BTS lost some of the other ones that are non-voting, and that's fine. That's whatever. So BTS did win Group of the Year, and I don't know if they announced that. I remember seeing a tweet about it later on. It was kind of just said, I don't think they said it at the show. I think they just said it later. What might have been nice is if, okay, you announced BTS won that and they couldn't be there, but you could have had like a filmed segment where like MTV recaps like what whirlwind year they had and how, they broke so many records for their Permission to Dance stadium concerts, and then kind of recap the whole hiatus situation, and then you could end it with like, okay, what's going on right now with their Chapter 2 activities, like Jack in the Box and J-Hope performing at Lollapalooza and, all the other things that they have going on. But, this is supposedly a channel about music, but they don't want to go into the stories. Like, this is supposed to be music television, MTV, but I thought that was kind of a lost opportunity there. But so the other nominees for Group of the Year, other than BTS, was Blackpink, City Girls, Foo Fighters, Imagine Dragons, Maneskin, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Silk Sonic. And I think where it got into like conspiracy territory for me, and is why I kind of got interested in, seeing what happened at the VMAs, was there was news circulating on Twitter. That's where I saw a couple of media outlets were like, as around the time that award was announced, that some outlets such as Teen Vogue and Rolling Stone and Entertainment Tonight, they were tweeting that Blackpink was the winner of Group of the Year. And, people got screenshots, and, this wasn't just I don't think it was just like a simple mistake, like, oh, one person got it wrong, because it was like multiple outlets that were tweeting this. So it's like somebody must have sent out like the update to multiple places, and then they all started tweeting it, but it was wrong. So I thought that was very weird. And putting that together with the fact that BTS won Group of the Year, but they didn't have a video showing where they accepted the award and, whatever else they might want to say to thank ARMY and, thank MTV or, whatever typical things they would say. If you're ARMY and you watch, you've seen them win many awards, and what always happens is BTS will record an acceptance video for like any and all awards they receive. It doesn't even matter like how small of an award show it is, or it's just a small channel on a small country somewhere, wherever. It's like it's no problem for them to just film a bunch of videos where it's like, yes, we accept this award, thank you. And it's like, because BTS is always going to record an acceptance video, and they're thankful for every award, and they wouldn't pass up the chance to thank ARMY and thank the channel, the organization that's issuing the award. So there's kind of a conspiracy going around that Blackpink was all set to win this award, and that's why that's the news that was being released, but that MTV got cold feet at the last minute and changed it back to BTS, who would have been the rightful winner, because this is a fan voted award, and I don't know what scenario would have to happen for ARMY to not outvote Blinks. Like, there's just simply more people. So I could totally see that happening if that was the case. And you could say, well, if Blackpink won fair and square, then why would they say BTS? Because they're not even there. So you have Blackpink, who is there and performing, and I'm sure MTV is happy that they're there, and they'd want all of their winners to be there. So brings up the question, it's like, well, maybe they won because they're the only ones in the category that were for sure going to be there. And it's kind of weird to begin with that they were nominated, because we all know Blackpink hasn't been active as a group for 2 years. They only just recently released one song. So it's kind of, it doesn't make any sense that they're group of the year, even if the eligibility time for that was, a very generous year. Maybe it was like in earlier 2021 or something. It's like, still, they haven't released music since like late 2020. So just the fact that they were nominated to begin with, it doesn't make any sense. And just the fact that BTS had so many accomplishments, even in like the first 6 months of this year, and just their numbers, their voting numbers, it doesn't seem like there would be any way that they would get fewer votes than Blackpink. So, a lot of people seem to think that this is, a rigged situation. Maybe YG was able to get MTV to agree to give Blackpink a couple of awards that they didn't actually get all the votes to win. And, one piece of evidence for that is that there was online voting for Group of the Year for the earlier rounds. So it was like, okay, BTS versus whoever. And it was like matchups. And, BTS would get more votes than their competition every time. So it kind of stands to reason that they would get the most votes in the final voting as well. It's like, okay, well, then why was there such confusion? Why didn't they just say BTS to begin with? And it's like, okay, maybe MTV had this plan and then they realized that this wouldn't be believable. They kind of like thought through the whole thing, like I just mentioned, like all of these other factors, and they're like, okay, we're gonna get like torn to shreds if we actually go through with this. So maybe they like just said, okay, well, never mind, let's just say BTS won. And then if this is what happened, then that explains why there is no video of BTS accepting the award, because they would definitely make the time to do it. It would only take like 30 seconds. And it could be that they didn't even know. They weren't told that they won because it was like the last minute change. But I mean, it's not that it's like that important. It's just like, okay, I hope that people can not take things at face value. And it's like when things aren't adding up, question them. And so, yeah, that whole situation was weird because we were seeing all the couple of tweets about Blackpink winning, and then that caused like, what? They won? Really? Okay. And then we saw a little bit later on, it's like, no, BTS won. That's the real result. And I was like, okay, that's weird that happened. Other than that, Blackpink also won in the category of metaverse performance. And from what I could tell, I didn't see any of these performances because as I understand it, it's like you're animated in a video game, and then that's the video that they make from it. So metaverse performance, the nominees on that were Blackpink, and they performed in PUBG, and then there was an Ariana Grande performance within Fortnite, and there was BTS performed in Minecraft, which was on YouTube. I remember watching that. I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's what a metaverse performance is. Like you are inside a video game. And Charlie XCX performed on Roblox, Justin Bieber on Wave, and 21 Pilots on Roblox. Those are all the nominees. And Blackpink won that category as well. And so this being another fan-voted category, it's also kind of suspicious then, because first of all, BTS is in this category, so automatically that's going to be a lot of votes. But let's say they weren't even paying attention or something. ARMY was like distracted and didn't bother voting on this category. Well, how does Blackpink defeat Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber. Like, I don't think they would outvote Ariana Grande or Justin Bieber. Like, they have so many fans, and I don't know. It's just, it doesn't sound believable to me. And then I was also seeing some comments on Twitter where people were saying the Ariana Grande Fortnite performance was actually super good and like looked, pretty awesome. Like, how they programmed it, how it looked like realistic, and, whatever, positive things people say about video game graphics. They thought hers was really well done. And then they said that Blackpink's was like not that great. And it kind of copied elements of hers, of Ariana Grande's performance, which I guess happened at an earlier time. And the Blackpink one was only just recently, because that was only a couple weeks ago when they released that Ready for Love, and then that was in the PUBG. So that's what people are saying. I don't know. I'm not a gamer, so that was also not that believable that Blackpink won it. And if we're gonna even just look at the other award they won, Lisa winning Best K-pop for La Lisa. It's like, that's not what I would predict either. The other nominees were BTS for Yet to Come, ITZY Loco, 17 with Hot, Stray Kids Maniac, and Twice with The Feels. Definitely it seems like BTS or Twice should have won that. So, I mean, I know Lisa is popular. I don't think she's more popular than BTS. And, Twice, there's a lot of Twice fans. I don't know. Something a little sus about the whole thing. And BTS and Coldplay, they should have been nominated for Best Collab as well. So they weren't even nominated for some stuff they should have been nominated for. And I see that 17 won Push Performance of the Year, which I don't know what that category even means. I guess a special stage, and they defeated a bunch of other people that I've never heard of. So I don't know if it's like newcomers, like only new artists are nominated in this. Yeah, I know 17 is not new, but for whatever reason, MTV has put 17 in like the new artist category. And because I saw that they were also nominated under that, so I don't know. But they won Push Performance. So I think that's a good thing for K-pop. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure that I don't see any reason why that wasn't the actual result. I don't question that one. But yeah, I think just, I don't know what kind of agenda is going on, but it just seems like the VMAs is really trying to make Blackpink look like they're on the same exact level as BTS. And if you're just being objective, you can see that is not the case. And if Blackpink is winning these awards, that means there's something else going on. There's like YG is like pulling strings or something, or they've just, straight up given money to somebody. I don't know, but the awards Blackpink won, it just didn't seem like they should have won, just if you look at all the other nominees. But, maybe MTV thought, oh yeah, it'll be fine. Let's just, throw a few awards to Blackpink, and we can, make their fans happy, make YG happy, and, they'll actually go to the awards, so we'll benefit from that. And then they probably realize, like, okay, well, what will ARMY do once they hear about all this? And ARMY might flip out, they might cancel MTV, they might just bring a whole firestorm of negative publicity, and they probably decided, you know what, this isn't worth it. Let's just, BTS can win Group of the Year like they're supposed to. And it's like, I'm going to suggest to MTV, like, if you want to hand awards to Blackpink, I think next year would be a more realistic time to do that, because then BTS will probably be still in their hiatus, and they won't have an album out, and Blackpink will actually have their album by next year. So they're trying to make that, if you want that to be believable, I think next year would be a better time to do that. So, I mean, it's just, and I like Blackpink. I listen to their songs, when they have good songs, I'll put it on my playlist. And I like the group as people. I just don't like when, the media or whoever is trying to make them seem like they're equal. And they're not equal at the top. Because you just have to look at ticket sales. Like, Blackpink aren't selling out stadiums. BTS is selling out stadiums. And they're just trying to, spin with their marketing tactics to make it seem like they're just as popular as BTS. And you can just see it factually. They've announced their Born Pink tour cities, and they haven't named all the venues, but they named the first venue, and they'll be performing in Seoul at the KSPO Dome. And this is a venue that has 15,000 seat capacity for 2 dates. And so if they haven't performed in Korea in 3 years, why did they not book a larger venue than that? And, we have to conclude that YG doesn't think they can fill a bigger venue than that. So either they're underestimating Blackpink's ticket sales, or they really think okay, that's all we can do. So, I mean, if you're trying to say, Blackpink, they're equal to BTS. Well, there has to be something to back that up. You can't just look at these awards we've won, which, those aren't, we don't see the accounting behind that. And so that's not evidence. Whereas the Permission to Dance dates in Seoul took place at Olympic Stadium, and since that was just recently, they weren't able to fill it to all the full capacity because of COVID and all that. But the stadium can fit 70,000 people, and BTS can definitely fill that. They filled up SoFi Stadium and Allegiant Stadium multiple dates. So I don't think it's a stretch to say they would fill Olympic Stadium. So, I mean, I think that's fine if YG is trying to make things happen for Blackpink. I just want people to see through the tactics. As for Blackpink's performance of Pink Venom, I actually think the song's not bad. I like the song. But I thought their performance was okay. Wasn't anything spectacular about it. I saw a lot of positive articles about their performance, but then I saw a couple of negative ones. Page 6 really didn't like them. That person said that they were stiff and lifeless, their performance, and it didn't establish the group as a live force to be reckoned with on the VMA stage. And this person accused them of lip syncing badly, but to be fair, they were singing live. They were not lip syncing, but they had a backing track, which is pretty normal for K-pop, and probably, a lot of the Western artists do that too. But it just seemed like only Rosé and then some of the time Lisa were louder than the track. So it did kind of look like they were lip syncing because they weren't being loud enough. So I think, it's kind of fair to say that if you didn't know the whole process. Whereas anytime BTS performs live on a US stage, it's pretty clear that they are singing live. They're always loud enough over the backing track. And I do think Blackpink needed some more rehearsal for their performance. I don't know how much time they spent on that, but I did see parts where Jennie was on the wrong foot and then didn't do the move fully on the next beat. And Lisa messed up her rap at the beginning. So, there's a couple little things that were out of place that would have been fixed if they had practiced more. And probably the main thing too is that they didn't have a ton of energy coming through with their performance. It was just kind of we're doing the moves. And in contrast to that, I watched Lizzo and Nicki Minaj, and I felt like they had a ton of energy with the crowd, and they had a lot of passion, and it's like they were very into their performance, and the emotions were coming out. So I think they did a good job with that. But Blackpink just kind of felt like they weren't, I don't know, it just seemed like they weren't rising to the occasion. They weren't feeding off the crowd. And I think maybe they were nervous, or maybe, it's been a long time. I mean, it definitely has been a long time since they last performed as a group. So I definitely think that could be part of it. It's just like, oh my God, all these people watching us. It's been years, So, I mean, not trying to turn this into like the anti-Blackpink podcast, but it's just the fact that they happen to be the recipient of BTS not being there. It just forces me to comment on this whole award show. So, and people, some of the blinks were like, they were tired from flying there. They just got there right before. But then when you look at BTS, and they had very little time to rehearse for their Grammy performance for when they did Butter, and it had that whole, complicated storyline, and they were doing that crazy jacket move, which I still don't know how they did that, and like laser choreo where they're like, had to jump over lasers and under, and and some other people had COVID, and some people couldn't be there. If you remember, they like had every obstacle possible, but they still turned out a really great performance. And I just think Blackpink didn't put enough time into it, and they could have done better. Some other VMA stuff that I thought was pretty interesting. Taylor Swift, she had posted a TikTok, and it was basically showing like her outfit for the VMAs, and the music she used for that was Pink Venom. So I think, and she also was in the audience, and she was like really cheering for Blackpink when they performed, and she seemed to like be kind of familiar with them. So I don't know if she's like just recently heard about Blackpink, but she seemed to be trying to give the impression that she is into them. And I mean, she may very well be a Blink, but as a Swiftie, I can tell you that Taylor is pretty calculated, and she wouldn't post something to her social media unless there's a reason behind it. Like she's promoting something, or she has some kind of ulterior motive. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but I just think like, there's a lot of Blinks that are like, oh my God, Taylor is endorsing Blackpink. And I just think what was happening with that is she knows that a lot of K-pop fans are also fans of hers, and there's a lot of crossover there. And, I can believe that because I'm Swiftie and I'm also ARMY, so I think she's right that there's a lot of crossover fans, or they're potentially crossover, because it's like if you like K-pop, you're gonna like pop music. You're probably gonna be open to liking Taylor Swift. And I also think she's trying to reach younger fans by using TikTok, because I think she didn't open her TikTok that long ago. It was like maybe like a year ago, but she's trying to I would say like build up the new generation of Swifties. And she must think like, okay, a lot of the younger fans are on TikTok, so let me appeal to them. And they're into K-pop, they're into these younger bands. And you might say, well, oh, how come she didn't use any video, she didn't post any TikToks that have BTS music? Well, we're not going to see that for a very long time, if ever, because she can't post anything that is positive for BTS. And the reason for that, you probably know, but the fact that Scooter Braun is connected to Hybe and connected to BTS, therefore she's not going to do anything that praises BTS, even if she does really like them. And I think she does like them, because we know she met them, I don't know if it was the Grammys or AMAs or one of the award shows. She's met them, and she was like really complimentary of them, and knew who they were and what they were doing. And this is before they were really big in the US. So that had to be a genuine reaction. So yeah, ideally, if someone wants to be seen favorably by K-pop fans, they would try to say something about BTS. But, and you've seen a lot of celebrities have done that. And I think they're all, pretty genuine BTS fans. I don't think they would be trying to, promote a narrative or anything. But I think Taylor Swift often does that, and that's totally fine. I just thought it was interesting. She decided, like, okay, well, if I can't say anything, that's pro BTS, even though that would be the best case scenario for getting some positive feedback from K-pop fans. If I can't do that, then Blackpink is the next best thing. And that has even the, women supporting women angle that she can use for that. So I think that's her motivation with suddenly she's, using Blackpink music in her TikToks. Or it could also be she's like just now heard of them because, they've been gone for 2 years and then now have one song. So maybe she's like, oh, well, this is a nice new song and I like it. But yeah, that was my thought on that. But, if it was like other female artists like Lizzo or Doja Cat, if they suddenly said, oh, you know what, I love Blackpink, or I use their music in a TikTok of mine, then I would just believe it. I would just like take that at face value. It's like they're just saying that they like this group. Also, that was a weird connection that in the Pink Venom lyrics, they say, look what you made me do, and that's a Taylor Swift song. So I don't know if was that meant. I haven't looked up their lyrics on Genius Lyrics or anything, but I don't know if that was on purpose meant to be a Taylor Swift reference in their song. But aside from that, I did see a TikTok about, there was a bunch of rap songs that their lyrics were kind of the same as in Pink Venom. I don't know if it was like, oh, they just weren't being creative, or if it was on purpose being an homage to those couple of songs. It's hard to say, but yeah, look what you made me do. That's something they said in Pink Venom. And then if you remember when Olivia Rodrigo was getting popular, Taylor Swift, she met her and then, they took some pictures together and it seemed like, yeah, I love Olivia, and Olivia was a big Swiftie, and she kind of did the same thing that she was doing with Blackpink. She's like, yeah, I really support Olivia Rodrigo. And this was all before, Olivia's team or whoever it was kind of plagiarized a couple of Taylor Swift songs, and then now she like has nothing to do with her. So I think it was before all that happened. But I think it's a similar thing. She's like, I support these younger artists, and maybe that will translate to a couple new Taylor Swift fans. So I think that's kind of what she was doing with that. The other story that happened this week is also, ironically, a story where Blackpink and BTS are involved. So last episode, I talked about the alleged V and Jennie pictures that were going around on Twitter that appear to be showing them as a couple in some photos. And so the K-pop world was pretty divided between people who think these are legitimate leaked photos. So people think that these are real photos that just somehow got out, and other people who think these are completely photoshopped or edited photos using their previous photos, mashed together. And so this week there was at least one more photo that came out, which came from the same person who released the previous photos. And that person ended up deleting their Twitter, or Twitter suspended them. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but they're not on Twitter now. But they were on Telegram. So that's another, social media app where you can, I guess it's not really like Twitter, but it's its own type of thing. But, you can interact with people on there. it's like Twitter in that way. And so this person, I don't know how they authenticated it, but they went to, maybe they posted their link before their Twitter went away, their Telegram link. So they were on Telegram and they were answering questions from fans about this situation. And people were asking, about the whole thing. And basically, this person was defending what they did and was reinforcing that these are real photos. I'll just call them the leaker since that's what they are saying they are. The leaker says they are working alone, but it appears they did not have direct access to the photo sources. So that sounds like they must have been given these photos and didn't hack into anything in order to get them. So that's kind of weird. Interesting. Because this is in answering a question like, who are you working with? And they said, I'm working alone. And then someone said, oh, well, then who's the one who leaked these to you? And the leaker says, well, I gave a very big hint on Twitter prior to being suspended that pointed to the person who originally sent the photos. Okay, so they think they left a clue to that. I have no idea who they might have been hinting at. And then they said, I'm not going to be uploading anything in the next 12 hours for sure. So, go about your business and please support Blackpink and their new single, Pink Venom. Differentiate between the artist and the real person behind the artist. So it sounds like the person is a blank, or at least is pro Blackpink. They support Blackpink, but at the same time, they're leaking photos of Jennie. So I don't know what that means, but the leaker says before leaking the photos, they reached out to 2 people. And it sounds like people think they're talking about Jennie and V, that they were contacted. It's like maybe to tell them like, okay, do this before I release these photos, or, something along those lines. Or, give me money or I'll release these photos. That might have been something that was said. And she says Jennie did not respond to their messages. Now, she didn't say V didn't respond. I can't imagine he would. He probably, if, some random person reached out to you and said, I have photos of you, I'm sure you'd just say, oh, I'm going to let my agency know about this and not reply. It's kind of like a spam email. It's like, well, let someone else look into this. Idol shouldn't be responding to like weird stuff like that. And then someone asked if they have pictures of anyone else in BTS, and the leaker said, no, I don't have information on the other members. So, it seems like if they had a source of these photos, it's someone from YG, and probably wasn't it probably wasn't Jennie, because why would you contact Jennie right before leaking the photos if Jennie was the one who provided the photos? So kind of seems like someone at YG provided this person with photos to create this whole situation. That's at least what I'm seeing. I don't know. It's the person is speaking like in a very mysterious way. So, things can be interpreted in different ways. And I honestly think, while this person was answering questions on Telegram, and at that point, I feel like this progressed way too far. This shouldn't be still happening and no one doing anything about it. I'm at the point where the story was making me feel uncomfortable. Like, we don't know who this anonymous person is and what is their motivation. There's things that have been hinted at based on what they said, and none of that seems like a good thing. It seems like it's beyond just a fan who is shipping them. It seems like there's more going on than just that. And it's kind of disturbing that the leaker doesn't seem to be bothered that they created this whole firestorm or this whole situation, and it's like very uncertain what's going to happen next. And I think, a lot of the media is to blame for keeping this going too. Like the whoever's reporting on Kpop, they need to stop publishing pictures that are from an anonymous source. It's just not very responsible journalism. And anonymous pictures on Twitter is not an actual source. You have no idea that these pictures are real still. Like, we still don't know. So I think it kind of went way too far. I mean, we had no idea what's happening behind the scenes. It could have been, the agencies are trying to talk to this person, or they're trying to get law enforcement involved. But, kind of seemed like for a while that the agencies are just letting whatever happen. It's like, oh, okay, well, the fans are like going crazy, getting confused, and you just leaving it. This situation is just leaving the idols to, twist in the wind. So, I mean, like I said, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, but it seems like the very latest thing that happened was that the leaker on August 31st, they've now said that in the Telegram chat that a lot has happened in the past 48 hours and important people have talked to me. After talking with those people, I've decided I will no longer post any content about Jennie and V. I will stick to my position and repeat myself again. No photos of Jennie and V have been edited or photoshopped. The legal representatives should only speak the truth. Those involved know that there are more photos, and they are the only ones who received the photos. And they said, please don't speculate too much about this. I never worked with these people, as they claim online. I will use this chat room only if I need to correct misinformation released by the company. So that's a very odd... I mean, I'm relieved that they're saying that this whole thing is over, but it sounds like they've received calls from the agencies or a team of lawyers or law enforcement even, that they said enough to this leaker to get them to stop. So I'm glad that got resolved, but I am kind of upset that it seemed like maybe this was a bribery or a blackmail situation, and maybe this person got what they wanted, and so now they're going to stop releasing these photos. So I hope at some point they get the story together and tell the public what actually happened there, because I don't know, it's just making it seem like the questions we have, it's like making it seem a lot more sinister than maybe it was. But I just can't help but think, well, maybe this person had real photos and they were threatening to release like something even more damaging. Like, let's say she had like nudes of people and that was like the next thing. But, I'm just speculating. Don't assume that I have knowledge of anything like that. But you know what I mean? I mean, it's like this person, it kind of seemed like they released a bunch of stuff as a threat, and then maybe they had more, but they were finally stopped by, people in authority who forced them to stop. So I don't know. But I kind of blame YG for this whole situation. I just think there's probably a bunch of shady people that YG is involved with, and that resulted in someone having access to some of Jennie's photos, and they were able to use that for creating this situation, causing a bunch of chaos. Maybe that leaker made some money by doing all of this, and I still don't know if they were real photos or edited ones. I mean, this person seems pretty adamant, but I mean, this is just some anonymous person, so I don't know if we should take their words at 100% face value. But, I'm relieved this whole thing is over. Hopefully it is, that they are telling the truth, because I think it's pretty unfair that V and Jennie had to be subjected to, weeks of headlines about this. And, the media is kind of responsible for that part of it, and I think they need to do a lot better. It doesn't even matter if they were dating or not, but we need to only see truthful information that gets reported. This kind of thing needs to stop. These type of like gossipy stories, and it's not fact check at all. This shouldn't happen. You can listen to BTS Happy Hour on Samsung Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and other podcast platforms, or visit btshappyhour.com. If you like the show, please take a moment to rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Weavers. Check out the merch store, with BTS-themed tees, hoodies, and more, linked in the description, as well as on the BTS Happy Hour Facebook page. Until next time, this has been the BTS Happy Hour. Thanks for listening, and remember, make every hour a happy one.